GIMS.
What's up, B?
What's going on?
I already, talked to the people about you and I let them know the reason why I want to have this conversation today with you is because, I think that as, Black men and women, we don't have enough conversations collectively together where we are talking about things as such as, mental health, our trauma, being vulnerable, right? I think that that's one of those obsolete things that have been kind of left out of conversations amongst one another because of probably for many different reasons, lack of trust or whatever the case may be. But I want to really dive deep into some of that today. As we know, I asked you to watch the Jeezy and Nia Long interview so that we can have the topic of discussion today around his interview topic, which is I might forgive, but I don't forget. And that's also his latest title to his album. So really want to dive into that. I really want to unpack a lot of the conversation, and as well, we could talk, about whatever comes to our mind as well concerning some of the things that they discuss. But I think it's important for us to kind of look at how prevalent, like I said, mental health is today, how having healthy relationships amongst Black men and women, because even though this is a hot topic right now in media right now, we are also seeing in media right now people like Keke Palmer and her child's father, her boyfriend, having a whole different type of narrative around their relationship, right? Where that's not, unfortunately, it was not a healthy relationship. It was not a relationship where, either where she felt protected, where it was, the narrative is that it was an abusive, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, as well as physically abusive. And I'm not going to dive deep into Keke because I feel like that topic is sensitive and, it's still a lot of discovery that's coming about that. But that is important for us to talk about Black relationships.
You should have been left in this Kiki.
I know. I'm sitting here like, sis, I'm confused because that's not who we know her to be. But I think that is important to what it brought back to my mind is that's why when we look at relationships and the image that people portray on social media, we can't even get caught into that because at any time we never know behind closed doors what's really what that person is really experiencing and who they really are. I don't judge her by no means. I know what it's like to be in a relationship with somebody and you just can't let go, right? You just quote unquote love them so much you just can't let go. But like Auntie Tina said, what's love got to do with it? So I think she's now at a place where she's like, bump love. I understand I got a child, but this is what's best for me and my child. I gotta walk away. I don't blame her. And again, I'm not gonna judge her. That's her tea, that's her business. It's more to it than what we even know. But again, I think that like I said, two types of people. We got Jeezy and Nia Long having a healthy conversation, and then we got Keke and her, child's father. But when we look at Jeezy and Nia Long, even though they were having a healthy conversation, they both just got out of toxic relationships as well, right? They both just filed for divorce. And I think Nia Long was married to him. I can't even remember, but
yeah, they was married.
To her child's father. So again, now sitting here having the conversation around forgiveness, having the conversation around love, having a conversation around trauma. And I want to ask you, when listening to that interview, what was some of the, I guess you could say, takeaways or things that you got from, their discussion? What stood out the most?
I think they in love.
Thoughts about it.
I think they in love. I think they are match made in heaven. So as far as the conversation go, I think that it was just them connecting. Like it's just weird to watch them two interview each other, like to have a conversation like Jeezy, and then you got another American sweetheart, Nia Long. It's like, what is Mr. Chopper doing with Superwoman? So I think it was a dope conversation. I feel like they kind of got. I feel like they was on the first date. Like they was really just getting to know each other, like connecting with each other, and not knowing that Like even one point in Jeezy was like, I would have never known that you would deal with the gangbangers, and he was like, oh, like, oh yeah, I got it. But yeah, just connecting with each other. I think they did a good job at understanding what each party went through and came from, and I feel like Nia Long drove the conversation, and Jeezy kind of just was speaking on like his life and his traumas, and she just kind of got so connected because like, dang, I've been through a lot of some of the similar situations and stuff like that. I think it was a very healthy conversation. It's very rare to see a black man and a black woman have a healthy conversation about life because there's always the finger being pointed at whose fault it is instead of just saying, oh, we went through this and I've grown out of it type of thing. So I think it was a good conversation I had for the culture, let alone them too, because there's guys in janky situations.
Yeah.
Same question.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with what you just said. I feel like they definitely look like they were on a first date. It did give those vibes where you just talking to your, you talking to your person for hours on the phone, sitting up all night until the sun come up, and you just, vibing. And I could tell that it was something that neither one of them probably have had in a while or ever experienced. Because I mean, Nia Long even said, this is the first time where I'm actually having a conversation like this with a black man, and I don't know if it's one of those things where she was saying it from a perspective where she's never been able to fully open up to a black man, or she is seeing a black man open up to her, in this type of format. And I think that it's funny how life just, I think as the more that we experience life, I think the more we are more self-aware, right? We become self-aware. Because I don't know if 20 years ago Jeezy would be able to have this type of conversation.
Not with no snowman shirt on.
Yeah, exactly.
She might have liked it though. Like I said, she said she grew up in South Central.
I'm sure she would like it.
She was into it. Like she was into it. Probably had gold teeth in her mouth and everything. That's all right.
I mean, we know Nia Long for being them boys in the hood and all of the things. Like she was with it. So I think that again, now seeing them both as well, Nia's in her 50s, he's and I guess close to that as well, but just seeing them as mature adults, right? Being able to go through different relationships that they've been through within the industry. Because I'm sure dating in the industry, it may appear different, but it's probably a lot of the same challenges that we experience in our everyday life. So yeah, I think that for me, some of the things that stood out was Jeezy just really addressing some of his wounds from his childhood. I don't think that I would have even I didn't know. I learned a lot in that interview. I learned that he did have a lot of trauma when it came to his mom, and just even a lot of the trauma that he saw as a young boy. Like he shared the story about him being an 8-year-old boy hiding in the bathroom because he saw, I guess he was at his neighbor's house or a friend's house or something, and violence took place in the home between the parents, right? And so he was hiding in the bathroom, and then his mother found him, police and all of those things. And so those were imprints that have been in his imagination, in his mind for years, right? And that, like he said, as an 8-year-old, he knew that this is what it became the norm to him to experience trauma. And I think that a lot of us as adults have some sort of PTSD from our environment, right? And how we may have grown up, or what we may have experienced, not necessarily in our home, but maybe in other family members' homes or friends, different things, school or whatever your community is. And it could just seem like it's the norm. Like you go outside, this is my everyday local community. But, we realize later down, like, dang, this is actually like some of my effects. This is why I don't trust, or this is why I don't have, I'm very guarded, or I don't show love, and I think that was important. I think that was good for them to be able to just kind of highlight some of that. And like you said, America's sweetheart, Nia Long, her also expressing, I went through some of the similar things. I also had wounds and issues with my father. I also dated people that was in the street as well. So I'm sure she experienced and saw some of that type of life too, even though she was in Hollywood. She's been in Hollywood for a very long time. But again, it it makes sense now why, you know, we see her, you know, later on kind of talking about things like this. So
yeah, facts. The
yeah.
hood princess, Nia Long. I said the hood princess, Nia Long.
The princess, her and Taraji, right? But I guess my question for you is, why do you think that there has been such a disconnect between men and women when it comes to communication? Like, why do you think that it's been a struggle? Like, why, like, for them to be able to say, like, this is their first time really being able to have a conversation like that says a lot. That speaks volumes.
I think that people aren't, first of all, people don't see enough of the world to understand that it's bigger than them. And when two people that haven't seen the world have tried to communicate, they don't know how to communicate because they're just basing their communication skills off what they know. And if you don't know a lot, you can't really communicate. So if you're basing it off of what you see in your upbringing in your household and you grew up, and I can't even say people like growing up like less than and stuff like that. It's like people that have been in two-parent households in a nice neighborhood and they can't have a conversation. It's just what you kind of surround yourself with and what you indulge with and what you engage with and what you grow from. I feel like we aren't taking enough time to learn people, like to understand each other. I feel like that's the hindrance. We don't care to understand each other. We don't care to know what someone has going on. We don't care to even think about somebody's background. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're using those things as like talking points to like tear each other down instead of like trying to learn why. I was verbally attacked the other day because I was in a restaurant. Well, I was at a mom and pop shop getting something to drink, and I was doing an interview with the organization. I was doing an interview, and a lady and a man walked in. I said hey to the lady, and then I said, "What's up, boss?" to the man. The lady said to me, "Why can't I be a boss? Why you ain't call me boss? Why he got to be the boss?" And there was a lady sitting in the restaurant. Um, the lady in the restaurant was like, "Yes, sister, you better speak on it." So I'm looking like, "Yo, what the heck is going on?" And she's like, "He can only be the boss because he the man, and I can't be the boss because I'm a woman." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." First of all, I said, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "Hey, boss, what's going on?" I'm engaging in conversation with you guys. Like, you shouldn't take it as disrespect, no matter how I engage with you. So what I said to her is that, look, based on my previous experience on engaging in conversations with women, especially women that are older than me, if I was to call them queen or if I was to call them beautiful, they would take that as disrespect. So instead, preventative maintenance. Hey, how are you doing? I'm not going to call you out of your name. I'm not going to call you something that you feel like you aren't. I'm not going to call you anything else. I'm just going to say hi. And I still got attacked. So it's like, that's why we don't have conversations because everyone is scared to get attacked. I mean, then we do have conversations. You see what happened. We got podcasts talking about Black love and how much who needs to bring what to the table and what needs to be a priority. And if somebody wants to do something, they will and all that type of stuff. Everybody's just talking about the wrong stuff and worry about the wrong stuff. You don't know me. You don't know me from a can of paint on the street. She could have lashed out at me and I could have lashed back out at her, and then we'd have been lashing out in that joint. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we should all take everything with a grain of salt and just treat everyone with respect. She could have been like, I wish you would call me boss. Like she was like, why didn't you call me boss? Why he gotta be the boss? Because he the man? Hey, I'm just a kid that like to paint. I don't want no smoke. But that's the reality we live in. Now I'm traumatized. I don't even want to speak to nobody no more. I don't want to say, hey, how you doing anymore to anybody.
Dang. And you know, I was just about to ask you that. I was about to ask you, like, how do you feel now because of her response? Like, does it make you feel like you don't even want to speak?
And I was an Anacostia. That could have went left quick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, dang, I don't like, all I said was, hey, how you doing? And because I didn't call you boss or give you some sense of, I guess, feeling superior. When I call somebody boss, it's not like, oh, you a boss. Like, I'm so proud of you. It's like, yo, what's up, homie? What I look like calling a woman homie? Like, I don't know. It was just weird. But it's an example of how everybody is on edge and how hard it is to communicate. That was a basic communication tactic, like just saying, "Hey, how you doing?" Because we're in the same space, and I want you to know that I'm innocent, and I want your reaction be able to let me know that you're innocent. But instead, she showed me that she was on edge and she might pop off. So I just look. This is why we don't got to talk no more.
Yeah, I feel like when you said that to her, it clearly triggered something within her, right? And I think that something in her has some level probably of insecurity somewhere where, and I think it was funny you're saying this because literally today I just had a thought about projections are so real. Like people really will project their own issues, their wounds, their insecurities out, right? And they'll make you look like the villain when really they're the one with their own stuff.
They got the issues.
Yeah, you got a bigger issue, but yet you're sitting here trying to have a conversation with me about something that has nothing to do with what just took place between you and I. But because of your perspective and because you're showing up in this conversation triggered because of something from your past, I don't know these things. Why can't we just have a conversation, a healthy conversation about whatever just took place that triggered? Like you said, if she could have just approached you in a different response, like with a different response, then maybe you could have given an explanation. But to your point, people don't really listen any day nowadays to understand. And I think for me, honestly, one of my triggers is being misunderstood. Like I don't like feeling misunderstood because I know my heart and I know my intentions by why I did or why I said what I said. And so when a person misinterprets, especially people that know me, that is one of the things that can hurt my feelings. Going back to forgiveness, right? Because going back to Jeezy, I might forgive, but I don't forget. You can forgive her, move on, be like, okay, like, I got you, sis. But now moving forward,
If I see her around later, be like, hey, you see me with all these ladies. You can't say I'm a lady hater, like, because I love women. So for her to be like, and then the lady sitting in the restaurant eating and slicing it, like she sliced it, then she got up and left. It's like, why would you gas her up like that? Like, I could have really been a crazy dude in that drink. Like, oh yeah, like this how y'all come in, like, and just you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just.
Do you feel like you've experienced that though with, I will say Black women. Do you feel like that's typically sometimes a response that like more of a, because I feel like when I hear Black men talk about why they date outside of their race, they talk about the aggression or our tones or the attitude. So do you feel like within, your interactions with Black women that can be, that is one of the things for you that maybe, is I don't want to say a turn off because I know that you date Black women and you love Black women, but
100%. I feel like the edge, I feel like the on edgeness could be like, I don't know. I can't say the on edge can't be calmed down because it is crazy dudes out here that don't know how to act when you reject them and this is that and the third. But like,
but I know you enough to know that I've heard you say before you don't like drama, right?
I don't like drama. That's why when I said hi, she was like, huh? I'm like, yo, what the heck? And then I really had to like take myself back and be like, oh, this is one of those situations that people talk about. Like, okay, this woman is angry for no reason. Let me explain to her that, look, I'm a good guy. I didn't mean any disrespect. This is why I said what I said, and I didn't say what I said to you. So I just feel like women are on edge and they have all the right to be. I just feel like sometimes you just gotta read the room. Like everybody ain't the enemy. Don't treat everybody like the enemy because that's just gonna make me not want to speak anymore. And I take it with a grain of salt. I don't care because I know my heart and I know how I walk in my life. Like I ain't tripping, but it's just a situation that's like, God, if the wrong people was in that restaurant, it could have turned into a riot. And if they would have recognized me, they could have went and been like, this dude don't think Black woman could be a boss. And it's just like, yo, I said hi.
Everything
I said, hey, how was your day? Yeah, I just feel like everyone can be on edge a little bit. That's just too. It's just too much of that. Like we supposed to love each other and care for each other. And like I said, unfortunately, everybody isn't wired with peace. So a woman could engage with a man and immediately he could become aggressive. So that may have caused her to be like, yo, why you ain't respecting me? Like she probably felt like I didn't respect her and felt like she needed to defend herself when I just said, hey, how you doing? Because we in this restaurant is like 120 square feet and we're literally shoulder to shoulder, like, yo, what's up? Like, what's going on? So Women do be on edge though. It's like every time you speak to a young lady, it's always this what you want energy or what you here for energy. When literally we just in the same space, and I need to know that you cool so I can be cool. Like it's
and I mean, how can I say this? I think it's a two-way street to that, because as much as like we just talked about intentions, right? Like as much as you are being genuine and trying to be intentional with your communication when seeing a woman, right? You want to say, hi, how you doing? Hi, like you say, I see you, and as sometimes, unfortunately, some of your male counterparts, your peers, don't know how to just keep it at a base level like that, right? So we know about the cat calling and all of that. Like for me personally, I don't necessarily really care for men on the street when they try to say things to me. I do typically sometimes keep it moving or it depends on like where I am. Like if I'm in a restaurant and a man opens the door, or I'm at it like sitting like waiting for my food at the bar or something like that.
Yeah.
A man is sitting next to me and he's talking. I can tell, because I have good discernment. I can tell when he's just literally just trying to say hi, and being kind and not trying to do the mostest. But there are some that take it to the whole next level. And then if you are saying, no, I'm good, thank you, I'm fine, then that was the whole, you think you stuck up, it's all the same. And again, it goes back to, even though like as the lady that you just saw, she was triggered. Now that man is triggered, whatever his ego or whatever is shot, whether he's with his friends or he's trying to do whatever. And it creates this unsafe environment. Like sometimes it can, as a woman, if I'm walking by myself, especially like don't scream out to me. Like, please, like that doesn't make me feel comfortable. Right. So, but in that instance, I think for something like that with her, she has probably experienced something like that where either on her job, and she has had men probably in superior positions downplay her work ethic or something like that. And like I said, it may have triggered her, but I do think that, communication is necessary. Being able to have that level of understanding is important. And unfortunately, I think society today is just not patient with one another for those type of responses. Like everything is so reactive. So because you said something, she don't even want to hear half the time what you got to say, because it's already a thing, right? Men they're not even trying to hear to say, no, I'm good. I'm already in a relationship. I'm good. No, it's already turned up time because of your wounds. And I think that, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's one of those things that, because I feel like today there are a lot of forums around communication, around conversation, we have a lot of motivational speakers that do these love talk tours and all of this type of stuff. So it's not like people aren't getting the information, and it's not like people aren't hearing and seeing people talk about wounds and trauma. But that's why I like the fact that Jeezy had this conversation, because this will allow men that don't necessarily go to these type of seminars, right? Or go to church or go to these different places where they can work on their healing. They're seeing somebody that looks like them or has the same background as them talk about things like this, and talk to a woman respectfully, because nowhere in that interview did I see Jeezy flirt with her. Like they just had chemistry, right? But he wasn't like all flirtatious. She wasn't even flirtatious. It wasn't uncomfortable. Like they should, they are having a conversation as two adults. I'm sure they're probably attracted to one another because they're both attractive people, but they're here to talk about a bigger mission, a bigger thing here. And I appreciate stuff like that, because I think sometimes this society is just over sexualized or over, just all of the things where it's like, dang, like for you going and saying hi to a woman, hey, beautiful. Because then when you said it, I'm like, why would a woman be not like you saying, hey, beautiful? But for her, she may feel like, I don't want you saying, hey, beautiful, because it makes her feel like you're trying to come onto her. Right. Exactly. And you're not even trying to do that. You're just saying, hey, how you doing, queen? How you doing, beautiful? And it's funny because the other day I was at work, and one of my coworkers, she was going around the building just saying, "Hey, handsome," to everybody, all the men, right? "Hey, handsome, hey, handsome." And my other coworker, she was like, you think you cute? You think you? And she was like, "No, I'm just saying, hey, handsome," like just as an esteem booster, right? Just to esteem them. And I think that, and she was saying it to Black and white men, whoever was walking by, and I could see the men's reaction where they're like, "Whoa, okay," like, but it was like that's not even a thing where men are probably even receiving compliments like that or just esteem boosters like that. And so I think,
and I don't think we take them as serious. Like, I feel like we are very action based, right? Like, we don't, like, words don't punch us. At least the men I know, words don't punch us as hard as words punch women. Like, words is like, the right words can stab y'all in the back, like, verbally. And I feel like me and the men I hang with on my circle, we on action, like, we're action based men. Like, we don't even like to use our words a lot. We're action based men, and that's what, for me and my circle, that's why it's hard for us to communicate, because we're action based. Like, we don't like the talking, we don't like the reassurance or having to do all of that. We like to get the work done, make sure everything taken care of, and hope that you appreciate it. We like appreciation. We ain't all that stuff, all that fluff in between. That's the difficult part, because when you add all that fluff in between, it starts to turn into another responsibility or a job or something like that. When naturally we are we nurture, and we're here to take care of everything and make sure you good. But you're telling me, oh, you don't tell me you think I'm pretty enough, or you don't compliment me every 4 or 5 times a day. It becomes to be like, all right, I gotta put this in my notepad to make sure I say this at 3:15. If I don't say this at 3:15, I ain't gonna be happy at dinner. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's turning more so into like another occupation than it is like an enjoyable romantic experience. And I think that's what everybody is trying to figure out, how to get back to that enjoyable romantic experience. But it's so much stuff on the outside of the world the influencing the mind of the women, because y'all control everything. So whatever y'all say y'all need, that's what we're going to give y'all. And I was just having this conversation earlier, how nobody's talking about this shift of hot girl summer and city girl summer to this slowly transition to, I want to live my soft girl life. I want to live my soft girl area. Y'all just stopped saying the hot girl stuff, and then y'all started saying the soft girl stuff like real fast. And nobody's talking about that middle ground of where, like, why don't y'all want to be hot girls anymore? Because we're all getting older, and it's been 3 years, and everybody went from like 29 to 32. And now it's like, okay, the clock is ticking. I got to get married. I got to find a man. What is that about?
Okay, so because you said a lot, so I gotta get into all of that. But I'll start with the latter part of it. What do you think that soft girl era means?
Soft girl era is mean, let a man take care of me. I ain't trying to be the boss no more. I want to be catered and all of that stuff. Like, without the flashiness and this is that and the third. Like, I know women that be like, you don't gotta take my trash out. And I'll be like, okay, I won't, because I'm doing it because I'm a man, and that's what I've just been programmed to do, is just take the trash out. Even when I'm at my friend's house, like, yo, I take the trash out, don't worry about it. Nah, you don't gotta do that. All right, cool. But now it's a soft girl. You ain't gonna take the trash out. You ain't gonna do this. You ain't gonna do that. Well, just 3 months ago, you was just telling me I ain't had to. So now it's like, what you want me to do? Because you're confusing me now. Like, golly, where the city girls go? Where did the city girls go?
That is hilarious. That is
Hashtag,
funny.
it's funny because it's true. You be hearing it. I want to live a soft life. I'm in my soft girl era. No, this is the famous one. I'm tired of being a strong Black woman.
We all tired. Even Nia Long said it.
Well, I started.
Huh?
Y'all was like this.
What you mean?
What changed it? What changed it?
I would say life changed it. First of all, we didn't start it. We didn't choose to start being like that. This go all the way back to the slavery days.
Nah, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
The man was sold. He was out of the house, and we
let's not do that.
carry down the fort, you know, like hold down the fort with everything. So yeah, as far as being a strong Black woman, it was plenty. I mean, I've even experienced, I even know that within my own family, like being able to see, okay, my grandmother telling me that her father left them, you know, abandoned them as kids. So what does that mean? Her mom had to hold down the fort for all of the kids that she had. So those are the things that throughout history, trauma just continuing on. So when you come down to, you know, a person probably looking at me today to say, okay, Trish, you're strong. That's my family. Like literally, I have to be like that, because at the end of the day, you know, my parents didn't raise me to be weak, but I'm also understanding, especially because I am the oldest child too. So being a firstborn, having to not have anybody fend for me or look out for me, I've always had to be very cautious and things like that for my own self, take care of things for myself. So as far as when it comes to strength, the difference with me though is I do embrace being able to say, okay, I embrace my emotions. You got some women that are not emotionally aware, that do not, and I'm not going to say aware, but everybody's just not, they handle their emotions differently. I am someone who is, and it doesn't mean that that is anything wrong. That might just be that woman. Me, I am someone who is cognitive of my emotional, of like where I am in my emotional standpoint. So I can be someone that I don't mind showing weakness sometimes, but just because I show weakness, I feel like that is still strength. Like I can say, okay, I don't feel well today. That doesn't mean that I'm weak. I am strong. I'm courageous enough to even say that, you know, like, because it's so hard to say that. But I think when it comes down to, I'm laughing about the soft girl era thing is because me hearing, it's funny how men perceive us, because that's not really what soft girl era means, but I think that it depends on the woman that you're talking to. I think depending on the woman and the girl, because I have friends, family members, all of that. They're not gonna tell you that that's what soft girl era means. Soft girl era does not mean that to me. It doesn't mean me. Soft girl era means one where we have always had to be independent, strong, even you know me, I'm very direct, right? So even in my conversations when it comes to men, making sure that even when I'm talking, I'm not as aggressive. I'm not even aggressive, period. Like letting down that aggressiveness and being able to have soft conversations with the man and not being combative, not being debate. That to me is soft. I'm tired of arguing. I'm tired of going back and forth with some dude about whatever. That was probably my hot girl life. Like I don't got time to be, because when you haven't found somebody that you can be in sync with, I feel like soft girl is self-awareness. A woman that is operating in her soft girl, she is in a place of truly trying to be self-aware, where she knows what she wants and what she doesn't want. So I'm not allowing distractions and things to come in that are provoking me not to be soft anymore. So if I'm allowing things to come in that are triggering me and making me respond to the old Latrice, then now I'm not in my soft girl anymore. Now I'm going back to I'm going back to being a thug. And I don't want to have to be, I have had, thank God for having good mentors, right? I have one of my mentors, I call her my auntie, where she had to tell me one time, this is Treese back in her 20s, right? So Treese back in her 20s definitely was on that thug like life for real when it came to dating, because of the type of dudes that I was dating. And I remember her telling me that when you went into this conversation with this man, you had your Timbs on, and I need you to start wearing your heels.
Exactly. Butters too, and they wasn't tied all the way up. The tongue was
I've
flapped
never
over
heard
and all
nobody
that.
say something like that to me before, and I had to explain to her, Auntie, I had my Timbs on, not literally, but I had my Timbs on because he had his Timbs on. So me like, he's not coming to me with his nice little loafers on. No, he had his Timbs on. So in the conversation, I had to match the energy to feel safe. So I had to feel like I had to be the aggressor as well in the conversation, because I wasn't sure if I was truly protected. And that's a scary place to feel. I'm not trying to be not to victimize myself in the conversation, but I knew where I was, the environment. I wasn't in my house. I was at his house. He had all of the control. I was in his house. I rode with him to his house. So now we're having an argument in his house. So I'm SOL at this point because I don't have a way to leave when I just want to leave, and I'm not nowhere close to home. I'm around him, I'm in his environment. He could have done anything. And he was the one, to me, being the aggressor, slamming doors in my face and all kind of stuff. So for me, yeah, I had to put my Timbs on. But I realized that, Trish, you approach almost every discussion like that sometimes with men because of those experiences, right? How about you just make the adjustment, when it comes to how you even date and how you even, what you look for in a man? Because I can honestly say, like, I kind of like them a little round away, but sometimes the round away type of people don't always speak well. They don't always speak to me in a soft way, right?
Yeah.
Because of their trauma, their environment. And it's like, okay, search for, now my request to God is, God, give me some of that, but I want a gentleman. Like, I still want a gentleman. I want somebody who, has the awareness enough and self-control enough to not be aggressive. So when I talk about soft girl era in my 30s now, what I look for in a man is totally different than what I looked for in my 20s, right? And I think that women who say otherwise, they probably in a soft little girl, they young girl era, because that is, if you still talking about being all of that other stuff, you worrying about being flown out, you worrying about this and this and that. Listen, I'm not, that to me, we need to be talking about.
That was just 2 to 3 years ago.
I know, and I was asking for the same thing too, because I was in my I was in my hot girl era. I was out here like Megan. I was like, Megan is the CEO and president. I'm right here with her. But that was my trauma. That I was still wounded and all of those things. So I think even when we look at the narrative around hot girl, soft girl, city girl, all of them was Carisha, JT, Megan, they all are in relationships. So what we talking about? I'm doing a hot girl and I'm doing a city girl, but yeah, I'm single, looking stupid, out here getting hurt. Adding more to my little roster, and I'm the one getting hurt. So now I absolutely am. I don't even know who I could compare it to, but I'm in my soft girl where I'm just like, no, I'm about being healed. Nobody got time for all of that other stuff. And I wouldn't even have ever thought that I could be at a place where I'm happy single. Like, I'm actually happy single, and I think that because now, even for myself, I have stuff of my, like, I can take care of myself. I have things for my own now. But back in that independent woman campaign, like I said, that to me is the hot girl, city girl. Well, no, because they wanted men to do things for them. But that's back in that old, that my 20s. To me now, like I was telling my girlfriends, I don't talk about being an independent woman no more. I don't want to be independent. I want to be interdependent, because inter means two, right? I want reciprocity. I'm not trying to be, me being somebody who pays my own bills. I pay all of my bills by myself. I embrace when God sends me my husband and he be like, boo, I got this. And you come, if you want to, you can, but you don't got to. Like, I look forward to the day I don't have to bring groceries in the house by myself and carry water to the door. Like, I don't want to have to do that.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait to be a house husband. I can't wait.
But see, and the funny thing is, us having this conversation, even though you make fun of the hot girl and the city girl, you used to be a city boy and a hot boy back in the your 20s.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was a thing. It was me. Like, I didn't have an influence. It was what I had. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have anybody. I didn't have a camp. We didn't have a campaign lifting us all up to go crazy. And then when the campaign died out because the founders of the campaign changed their lifestyle, we had to be like, oh, we don't want to do this anymore. We want to relax. It's just like well timed. And I've been hearing it a lot, and it's just like, dang,
I think
they
the
just got to get
campaign. No,
huh?
go ahead. No, go
No, I'm
ahead.
just saying it's just like it's just fading out. It's slowly fading out, and nobody's talking about the shift. Like now, y'all want relationships, y'all want stability, and this is that and the third. And like I said, just after COVID, it was I'm in Miami. Yeah. And shout out to Sexy Red because she keeping the energy going, but nah, y'all not slick. Y'all are not slick.
No, I think the campaign came honestly, I think and this is the power of influence. I think the reason why the campaign became what it was is because honestly, there was a level I can't speak for all the women, but for me, why I probably rallied around it was because there were truly wounds in my heart where it came to relationships and how I saw myself with men. I wanted to put myself on an equal playing field where it was like, I'm tired of men taking advantage of me or making me feel like I'm not enough or making me feel. So now I'm going to be the person, and not to say in charge, but I want to be able to I want to be able to take control of how I move and how I show up. You're not going to dictate my flow over here and dictate my emotions, right? So now I can have control in how I show up and how I remove myself from a situation. But that came from my own trauma and my own wounds of rejection, and me being able to see, and now, like I said, operating in my soft girl, really being able to take true accountability for my own self, literally minding my business and doing my soul work because of the fact that I had to look at my inner child. The little girl in me was hurt and was longing for that affirmation and that affection and that validation, like at a young age, really being able to be affirmed and not needing that from other people, but probably needing it. And so me now as an adult is like, I have to, even though my love language is words of affirmation, like you say, you don't really like to do all of the words and all of those things, but that is how I feel affirmed. But that's not, I now can look at it as though don't use that as a level of, like amplifying your rejection wound. That's just who you are. You are words of affirmation. You like to encourage. You need encouragement, inspiration, motivation, but not the sweet nothings, not the things that, all of the broken promises. I don't look to some of those. I don't look to those things anymore. I don't look to, just because a man called me beautiful, now I need to give him my time at like day when it comes to dating or whatever the case may be, because he's on my phone all the time. No, I can now say, like, I thank you, I appreciate you, but I'm in a different place right now. Like I'm doing me, I'm happy. I don't look to that to validate my identity. And I think that it's a lot of women probably that were experiencing some of those wounds that they just didn't know how to discuss, or they were discussing it, but it's not like men are not like patient enough to hear that, because now, oh, she's expressive, she's sharing all of this, oh, she's doing too much, it's just too much, she's so, it could just seem like and I've heard a man say this, oh, it's just too heavy, right? I don't want to hear all that, it's just too much, like I don't need all of that. And so where women have probably been expressive to their partner or to their male friend or whoever the case may be, it may have came off like it was just too much because they didn't have the emotional mental capacity to receive it. But it doesn't mean that we weren't expressing it. So now when a woman is expressing it, whether it's in a city girl way or expressing it in a sexy red way or whatever, now it's the expression that men are turned off by, but you weren't hearing it when she was trying to say the other way. Now she was, so I think that, again, that to me is the disconnect. And I think that it comes with, in order to make the connection, it just comes with maturity. It comes with, even if a person doesn't receive you, then you go to the person, like everybody's not for you. So now I know, like, okay, if a man is saying that I'm too much or he don't want to hear whatever, he's just not my person. Like I'm okay with that, because there are plenty of people in my life that love all of who I am. So
do you feel like men have changed over time?
I would like to be positive.
I'm saying, do you feel like men have changed? Like, has there been like a shift in the grade, or like has there been a shift in the different types of men? Or has there always been like two class of men? Or has there been like a shift? Have men progressed, or have we just kind of stayed the same? Like what you expect from a man, or like what you've experienced in a man, has it always either been the same or has it changed?
I would say that I can't speak for the masses, but I can definitely say that I have had the opportunity of knowing different varieties of men because I put myself in different environments. So I see well-class great men, whether it's at church or whether I'm going to a conference or whether I'm just out networking or whatever. It really is good. There really are good men out here that really do have a lot of have substance, right? Not all men are just on the let me hit type of vibe, or whatever the case might be. It's, I think though, where we probably see that same influx of men that have some of them environments is when you put yourself in that similar environment, like that same environment. So even for myself, I know, like, I can't expect, like, if I'm at a, not to say I can't expect, but I intentionally show up in different places expecting to meet different types of people. Right. And I think that if a person still has the same type of experiences with the same type of people, then they need to expand. They need to have some different level of exposure, even for my, and some people might be like, well, where do you find that at? Because it's, I think exposure is important. I think exposure is so healthy, right? And sometimes you got to be intentional about exposing yourself to different things. And you got to open up yourself to different interests. Even for myself, I, like, as of lately, I have been intentionally putting myself going to like book discussions, like local book discussions, and meeting Black authors and doing, I've never done stuff like that before. Now, granted, I like to read, but now I've been putting myself in these type of different spaces because I'm around different thinkers, right? Like I want to be able to be around people that have different type of conversations. And oddly enough, there are men in those rooms, right? Now, even when I went to a book discussion recently at Martin Luther King Library the other day, it was a lot of men in that room. Now, granted, they may not be men my age, but there were some, majority might be older men, but I'm not, I had to shift my perspective to say, I'm not just here looking for my man, my husband. I'm here to learn. You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening for my uncle's wisdom and advice, and he's teaching, like, the discussion was Angela Bassett's husband. He was promoting his book on mental health, but a lot of tools that I got from that was how he had to be intentional about how he communicates to his wife, Angela Bassett, who is the queen, right? Like, if I want a marriage like that and a relationship like that, I'm gonna listen to this type of brother, because he had to be intentional about showing up for his wife and understanding her needs and they are believers, so for me, I'm like, this is the type of energy, I do believe law of attraction, reciprocity, whatever you want to call it, is important, because sometimes we just got to put it, like I said, put ourselves in different spaces. So I do think men, to answer your question, I do think men are changing. I think men are exposing themselves to different type of things, even just being able to see, men in the gym. Like, there are a lot of Black men in the gym, and I think that is a good quality if you look for a man, because he cares. Clearly, he got some discipline, and he cares about his health. And he's not just gonna care about his health, but he's gonna care about your health, right? So I think that we have to start opening up ourselves to the different environments that Black men do show up in. Different rooms that Black men do, that things that interest them too. That ain't just the club and the go-go and all of the different things.
That's a fact.
So yeah, I think that I just think that as a people, I would say even as millennials, right? Because us being in our 30s now, really being able to like give ourselves grace for our past, but being able to open up ourselves to like what's new. So I think even even for myself, when I have conversations with men that I knew from back in my past, when I see them today, I can say that, okay, there's some growth there. Like I can see that, so like you said, can men change? I can say men can change when it comes to certain things, but it's when it comes to them, like I need to know, even if your external has changed, whether it's your environment, like you now got your own place or you got a great job and you doing all of those things, but I'm looking for to change when it comes to picking a partner. I'm looking at, have you changed when it comes to how you deal with me?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Treat me and handle me with care, and if you still are showing up like you did when I met you back when we was in college, no, sir.
I hear that.
So, yeah.
Give grace to the good men.
Yeah, I mean, give grace to the good men and understanding that.
And stop hanging with the hood rats.
But the thing about it is, what's funny? Because you saying stop hanging. I remember, right? Like, because I have a lot of male friends, I have men that tell me that I feel like y'all say stop hanging with the hood rats, but yet y'all choose the hood rats. And that's the thing that bothers me. It's like y'all say these things, but then yet I have definitely heard men say, I like being with the hood rat type of girl because she's better in bed, or and we're not talking about, of course, this is a Christian podcast, but I'm being real here, right? What the type of men that men be choosing. I've heard men say they like the hood ratchet girls because they're better in bed, or because they're more fun, entertaining, or whatever the case may be. So, you tell me.
You know when your friends is wrong.
What you mean?
Like, when your friends is wrong. So it's like, if I'm dating a woman, or if I'm getting to know a woman and her friends are making awful decisions, and you know how women confide in men and they say, look, this girl acting like this, like I don't know what I'm gonna do with her. Yeah, stop hanging with her, because that ain't who I want in my corner when we having our issues. She gonna tell you go outside and do your thing. I need somebody that has a good grasp on life and is already established and they got all that out their system, that know that ain't the way to go, that know, hey, you should try to work through it. Hey, he's a good man. He's helped you out with this. He does that. Girl, you don't got nothing to be complaining about. This is small fry stuff. Calm down. I don't need, we about to go to Saks. We going to Opera. We going to Lotus Lounge.
So when picking a woman, I'm sorry. I was saying, when picking a woman, do you, or not, I don't want to say picking because we're not options, right? But when you're looking for qualities in a woman that you can see, okay, this is something that I can, take to the next level, serious, or whatever the case may be, are you evaluating her friends? You are basically saying you evaluate her friends too.
Yeah. Especially if I'm out in public and the friends could throw the chemistry off. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you gotta see that, because then you gotta know you gotta know the quality of the friend group, because that'll show the inner, it's just it shows you what she's willing to tolerate. And if you willing to tolerate the BS with your friends, I know you're gonna put up with BS with me, and I don't even want to be around that type of energy. That stuff kind of spills over. Like, I need your friends to be in tip-top shape and be good and like I said, understand life and good job, taking care of responsibilities. I need you to have them type of friends. I can't, because anybody be messing my baby shower up because you off the Hennessy.
So would you recommend women also evaluate her partner's friends as well, a man's friends?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how soon do you feel like they should meet? So is it like the first the first date? Should it be a group date, or
nah? That's
the time that you
when you figuring out that you have an attraction for somebody and y'all been out a couple times, and it's like, all right, come, me and the homies going here, catch a vibe. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I am with my friends and my family. Like, if my friends and my family don't like somebody, then I can't deal with them, because I can't have tension from these two parties, and I'm always gonna like these are my friends and my family, 10, 20 plus years. So I'm always going to take their feelings into consideration. Like,
Yeah.
but let it, like, if I have somebody and me and this person start dating and they meet my friends and their family and they're good and they're locked in, and then we go get married and then they end up like having an issue with like one of my friends or my family, that's a different situation. Like, I've invested time into you now and I know that y'all have potential to be good. It's just an unfortunate situation. I can keep y'all two away from each other. But in the getting to know stage, like fresh and it's new and we're like months in and a year in and stuff like that, man, put your best foot forward and the family, and you gotta be good with the family and the friends, because that's just like that's what's important to me. Like those are the opinions that matter. I don't care about nothing else but those opinions. Like,
what if she's totally opposite though than her friend? Like, what if her friend, like, what if they like sandbox friends and they just been friends for forever, but they just different? You know, like maybe her friend is a little bit more, you know, just living her best single life, and the girl that you dating is a little bit more reserved, introverted, you know, chill, but they just have a common, you know, they like family at this point.
um,
Is
I
that
guess I'm
still a
selfish.
determined, like, is that a deal breaker because you now met the friend and
It can become a deal breaker, because think about it like this: like if they even hang out once a month, right? And
mm-hmm.
every time they hang out that once a month, you got this crazy friend that's always getting your girl drunk, that she always passing out. She ain't never picking up the phone or nothing like that when they out together. It's like it's gonna start your gears gonna start to turn like, dang, what y'all love every time you hang with her, I can't get in contact with you, or I always gotta come pick you up because you drunk in the club and stuff like that. It's like you're gonna start to feel like, man, you shouldn't be hanging with this girl. Like,
Yeah.
I'm caring for you, and I'm telling you that I don't like when you hang with this person. It it doesn't it's not a good representation for you, and it doesn't make me feel good. Like it doesn't I don't feel safe with you being with this person. And then it kind of challenges the whole friendship, like we just talked about the friendship and your spouse. It kind of challenges that loyalty to which party. Like it's just tough. That's why I say just make sure your friends on your P's and Q's, or keep them away from each other. And it's very hard. It's hard to live a happy life. And I think that's what we do now. We meet people and we keep them away from everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and then we get solid with them, and everything is going good with them, and then we introduce them to our peers in the world,
Yeah.
and it just falls apart because we didn't fall in love in front of everybody. We kind of fell in love in private, and we never experienced group outings or family trips and stuff like that for them to get to know everybody and everybody to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love to lead with a trip. Hey, come on, let's go. Come
Mm-hmm.
hang with the fam. You know what I'm saying? Come on, hang with the fam. So I know that you could work a room, and I don't got to be up under you and doing this and doing that to make sure you feel comfortable. Cause I ain't when I go around my family, I'm chill. I'm the reserved one. Like I like to relax. Like my family louder than me. So it's like I need somebody that can roll with those punches. Like if you can't roll with them punches, you got to deal with these people for life. And every time you come around my family, you uncomfortable. I don't know, Slim. Like, because then that transfers into me and this person have a child, and she don't feel comfortable with my brothers watching the baby because she don't like the way my brother do certain things. And this is that and the third. So it's like all that stuff. I think about all that stuff when it comes to like dating somebody. But
And that's,
if you ain't walking with the family and the friends, then it really ain't gonna work.
yeah, I think about all of those things too. And I think that's so important because I think that and that's why I say when it comes down to start looking into what type of person we're choosing or looking for, we need to start thinking about the whole picture. Like, can I live life with this person? Can I do life with this person? Right.
How
And
soon how soon do you think about that though?
I think about that early, like early on. Like that's
My
already
dream
on
be
my
like
prayer.
2 years, 3 years.
Huh?
My dream be like 2 years, 3 years.
Oh yeah. I feel like I I think about those things early on. And I think that, like I said, that's on my prayer list too, is how is he when it comes to like the type of man that I'm praying that God provides me is somebody that is a family type of person. I want to do the family trips. I don't really, I want my house when I get married to be the house. We do cookouts at our house. We do family gatherings, all of those
Yeah.
things. I don't want to be with nobody that don't like to be with family or around people. I don't want nobody in my house, or I don't want no, I don't, or I go to events by myself all the time, and then I gotta say, he's tired. He just got, off work. He's sick. Always have to make excuses for you, and then my family looking like, well, where he at? Why he, And I don't want to have to do that. Like you said, sometimes I may want to just chill. I want him to be able to work the room, lead, and even if he's reserved and chill, that's cool. But I want to like we can do this together and feel like this can be family, and not have to feel like I gotta hide you, not have to feel like I can't be around your family. So I do, when I say I think about those things early on, I think about what's his relationship like with his family. Like some things I wouldn't say is a total deal breaker, because you can't control somebody else's upbringing, right? Like if they have a bad toxic relationship with their parents or their family or whatever, and they have now established boundaries for themselves, I have to understand, like that's you know what I'm saying? That's them. But also at the same time, I got to know when I think about those things, what is the residual effect? Like, and that's why, even like you said, like I just saw you do the nah. I agree in the sense of, even though you may have these boundaries, you may have this, all of this, whatever all of the different things, right? Having conversation around how you still show up. Because if you do have, I want to know, do you have a good relationship with your mom or with your sisters or whatever the case may be? Because I want to know how you'll be with me, or if we were to have daughter, all of the things. I do think about those things, because again, I want my man to be a family man. I want to feel like, okay, we can do things inclusively together. But to your point about the friends, I think about those things as well. Like I want my man to have good friends around him that love me also, that like me too, right? Because I don't want him to have friends that encourage him to cheat or encourage him, bro, she at home, don't worry about, we at the club. Like,
exactly.
Going to the, you and your man's always going to the strip club. I'm gonna have a problem with that. Like, why you gotta always go, I don't even want my man going to the strip club, period. I don't like that. That is a no for me. But I want my man's friends to keep him accountable, while he's out, and not be like, not like, when I think about good friends, I think about like how Tommy and Cole love Gina, with Martin, like they was off, like they did stuff together, right? Everybody was together, they did stuff together. Now they might have been in the early, like even in the earlier years of Martin, you saw they was, joke time with Martin, with Gina, whatever. But as they got older, they became like family. Tommy and Cole held Martin accountable, like, bro, you left your ring off at the gym. Why you take your ring off? Like now you got all of those different things. So for me, I do think about, his relationships when it comes to like the type of people that he has around him, like who he keeps, and his family dynamic. I think that is very much important and something to evaluate when looking at a potential partner. So yeah, my next question for you is, in the interview they talked about, Nia Long has said to Jeezy about him being guarded, and she could sense that he's guarded, and he was like, yeah, I am guarded, because if I'm not guarded, then I'm going to I'm probably be dead, or I'm gonna probably be in jail, or I'm gonna probably, and he asked, was she guarded? And she said she is guarded. She's guarded when it comes to her kids. Like she doesn't play with people messing with her kids and all of the different things. But I wanted to ask you, like, one, are you guarded when it comes to, being in relationships or around people? And what will it take for a person to, let your guard down? Like, what do you need to see within a person before your guard gets down, or does it ever drop?
I feel like that's my problem, because I don't put my guard up when it comes to like getting to know people. Like I'm open from Jump Street, because that is like, I don't have time to be playing no games. I'm gonna let you know what it is on Front Street, and if you walk with that, you walk with that. And I feel like most times people are like, oh, I don't know what's true or not, because there's so many people out here lying and this is that and the third. So it makes it hard for me to get to know people because they always thinking like, yo, what's going on in his head? And it's nah, I'm chilling. Like it ain't that deep to me. Like it really don't be that deep to me. But when it comes to like business and hanging around people and stuff like that, yeah, I ain't with it. Like I like to protect my energy. So I'll be guarded when it comes to who I'm around or who I'm hanging with and stuff like that. But when it comes to somebody that I'm feeling the vibe in, I ain't just meeting like Joe Smo off this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like random girls on the street. Like whenever I engage with somebody or wherever I'm hanging with somebody, they're like people with stuff like they have things to lose. Like they ain't just out here wilding out and geeking to go to the club and act crazy and this is that and the third. Like we got stuff to lose on this side of town. So it's like it's just weird. Like it's just it's being guarded is a good thing. And I like the way how they broke it down because Jeezy said like, yeah, I gotta protect myself because I never know. He even said like when I get dressed in the morning, I get dressed as if like I'm about to die. Like if I die today, I want to make sure I look good. And when you guard it, it's like, man, you never know if you in the wrong space or if you take 30 minutes to go chill with somebody and they got into it with somebody, it's like just certain things you shouldn't do to kind of lower the chances of something happening to you or lower the chances of you being hurt or somebody crossing you or something like that. So I feel like I'm guarded when it comes to like protecting my energy and making sure I ain't around people that ain't really on nothing. Like, cause it becomes like a poison. Like you hang with people that ain't really having nothing going on or excelling in life or moving forward, or people that can't teach you anything, or people that ain't in a position that you would want to be in. You'll just feel like you're not better than everybody, but you feel like there's no reason for me to do any better because I'm already up here to this group of people and I don't have nothing else to like work for. But me, I'm gonna surround myself with the cream of the crop, the best, and the people that's better than me, or the people that's on the same level of me, that's same level as me, that's working to become better. So I got like a peer group that's picking each other up, or I got some OGs or some mentors that's saying, look, this is what I just closed in on. Come to this room and meet these people that'll help put you in position, or these people you need to meet that need your services, that'll pay you for these services, and they'll connect you with even higher people and stuff like that. So it's like you got to be guarded with, and you sometimes got to be guarded with that because they could be introducing you to people that hinder your opportunities with other people based on emotion or who don't like who and stuff like that. So you gotta play chess every single day, especially as an entrepreneur, because you hanging with you hanging with this person or me doing something with this organization could tarnish my name with this organization. So you gotta kind of be able to have that happy medium and work your mojo to make sure you keeping everybody happy. And that's the sucky part.
Yeah.
Keeping everybody happy and making sure they know like, nah, whatever y'all got going on don't got nothing to do with me. Like I ain't picking no sides. I'm here for the bread and to create this art and get up out the way. Like people be janky.
Yeah, and I think there is a difference with guarding your heart and being guarded. Like I think that like the Bible says that, you know, when you guard your heart, you should guard your heart because out of it flows the issues of life, right? And so to me, when you guard your heart, it's wisdom, but I had to really, you know, ask God like, what is the difference? Because I want to guard my heart, but I don't want to be guarded. And I struggled with that for a while because of, you know, when you experience a level of emotional pain, it's so easy to become guarded. Like you're by nature, just naturally you want to be guarded because you don't want to keep experiencing pain, right? You don't want to keep experiencing the same level of hurt. But I knew that that wasn't going to be the most healthiest and conducive way for me to have good relationships in life, right? So I'm like, God, I need you to help me guard my heart because you say it's wisdom. Like you say, doing that is wise, but I don't want to be guarded. I don't want to have bitterness in my heart. I don't want to have stones in my heart when it comes to people, because then that's hindering me from still experiencing great relationships, good people, right? And so I had to really learn that the difference. And I think for me, just through prayer and spending time with God, I was able to really work through that in my heart, because now I'm like, okay, the way I guard my heart is I really do trust myself and I trust God with people. Like I trust that like my prayer period is always like, God, I trust you to bring the right people into my life, and those who aren't supposed to be in my life, you will remove them. And so because I know that I have a strong relationship with God and he shows me things, I really do have a good discernment. Like I can perceive things before they happen. I see things in the spirit before it happens. He always gives me warnings and always shows me things. So for me, I guard my heart by having discernment, by like being like, okay, you will show me a thing about a person, right? And he'll typically reveal it, expose it over time. It always happens. So I know that, okay, because I trust in God, he will protect me when it comes to people. He'll protect me when it comes to business deals. He'll protect me with certain things like concerning my, like I said, different relationships, whether it's wherever, ministry, wherever it's business, wherever it's in my relationship, like personal relationships with people, friendships, he will protect me. And I've had to learn how to just adjust to those different shifts, because even in that, once something is revealed about a person, it could really be people that you genuinely love and care like for. And you can grieve that a little bit, but you got to know, like, okay, I had to learn, like, just because this relationship or whatever fell off, it will not hinder how I still show up when it comes to other people. I just need to have more wisdom though when it comes to how I do relationships. So for me, I now take the approach of pacing myself. I really do allow myself to just really not overly defining something so soon. Like we could be cool, we could be even friend, like I could call you a friend, but I'm also still being mindful of, okay, the difference, right? Like a person that I may meet today is not going to hold the same level of value in my heart, or value in my heart, like somebody like you, right? I've known you for over 10 something years, right? We have gone through history together, we have had experiences, we have had things where we did not always agree, we may have had conflict, but how we resolve that, right? That helps me to be able to see, okay, this person has my heart. So now I can move forward with whatever this relationship will be. And I think now, as I meet new people, if I haven't had those type of experiences with you yet, and we can't come back to having a resolve and having a common ground, then this is not the relationship that I need to have and move forward with, whether it's friendship, business, whatever, because clearly we don't have the same we don't have the same value system when it comes to how people. And I just think that I wanted to say that because even though I heard them talk about being guarded, and I know that his title is I Might Forgive, but I Don't Forget. I think that there is, as much as I do believe that, like I do believe in, you can forgive somebody but not forget, right? Like there is a thing in that, because you do, I do believe that. But I also think that, like I say, I don't, if I choose to open myself up to new relationships, I try to not come into that relationship guarded. I try to be open and give people clean slate. Like, you have not done anything to me until you prove yourself unworthy. Then now we just don't need to. But I try not to, because, and the reason why I'm saying this too is because I hear women, because I do business with women, right? So I'm in this field. I've host events. I hear women all the time talk about a lot of their trauma is with women. They have negative experiences with women. And so even at work, when I was recently at work this past week, some of my coworkers were like, I don't do women, like, and they're females, but they was like, I don't do women. I don't do women. But and I'm like, I had shared with them. I was like, oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, because I do. And they was like, no, Latrice, we could tell you do, because you're just friendly. We could just see it all over you. And I was like, yeah. I mean, I was happy that they was able to see that. But I'm like, wow. And they're older women. They're older than me, and they were saying that, right? And so I'm like, they like women in their 50s, 40s, and I'm like, wow, it's amazing how I have been able to be around women of different ages, and they all still have, a lot of them have the same perspective when it comes to other women. And there has clearly been some trauma here, but I think that one of the things that I saw that was healthy in my exchange with them, because that was our first time meeting, my coworkers, and one of the things that I saw that was so good was that originally, even though they both said they don't do women and they originally didn't really want to talk to each other, because I was the middle person and I was the friendly one, I kind of introduced them. And then afterwards, they was like, oh my God, we so happy we met. We so happy.
Yeah.
Like now all of us left feeling good about one another. But I think the prejudgments, because of our previous experiences with people being guarded or whatever, can hinder us from actually having some common ground and actually having healthy relationships, you know? So, because if not, then that's how, even like with work, you can have negative work. I have been in negative work environments that were so unhealthy because of catty women, right? Like, and it's like, dang, we supposed to be, and I'm telling you, it's the Black women a lot of the times that be really trying to chew each other's heads off. And I'm like, we supposed to be, you supposed to be auntie helping me, and you trying to get me fired. You trying to make when you out here, and it's like, it's sad sometimes how I think as a culture, we don't give each other grace. We just don't give each other grace enough.
We don't be standing on business like we supposed to.
We don't. And you're one that taught me to play chess, because I was definitely somebody who played checkers, and I had to learn early what that meant, because I feel like the difference of playing chess, even though I hated that, because I'm like, I don't want to have to play chess and all of that, because it's still a game, right? Whether it's checkers or whether it's chess, it's still a game. And I hate playing games with people. I don't like feeling like I'm in a game type of situation with people. But the reality is, life is that. Like, it is life, dog eat dog. A lot of people are opportunists. A lot of people have their own agenda. A lot of people have their own motive. Even if you think that they don't, they do. Everybody is trying to get ahead in some sort of capacity or whatever, right? And so I had to learn that the difference with chess and checkers is that, for me, checkers was me not wearing my emotions on my sleeve so much. Like, I felt like, because I'm a direct person, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know that I see you, and I'm gonna call you out and note on this and address this and all of the different things, because I don't do passive. I don't like passive aggressiveness. However, I have had to learn, though, that chess sometimes is not, again, it's back to wisdom, guarding your heart, having discernment, whatever you want to call it. It's just trusting the process. I don't have to say something to you right now and call you out, even though I see you being shady and doing shady still, because I trust God enough to expose it. I was listening to Omarion. He had did I was listening to Omarion do his interview with Jason Lee, the owner of Hollywood Unlocked, right? And I saw a clip on Hollywood Unlocked, really, of April, his baby mother, fussing about his interview with Jason Lee. But when I was like, I'm not about to. I listened to what she was saying, but I wanted to still hear what Omarion said. And what I heard what Omarion said was, because Jason had asked him the question about, how do you feel about Lil Fizz, your bandmate, being in a relationship with your baby mother? Like, how did that make you feel? Because we all know Omarion just be unbothered, right? He wasn't saying nothing, he wasn't talking about it or whatever. And Omarion said, one thing I know about life is that people will reap what they sow. And he said, I learned to, the greatest way to, sometimes you don't got to address people and their stuff. You just got to let people, when they reap what they sow, you got to let people sit in their pain. Like, when when life hits them, they'll feel the residue of it. And you got to let people sit in their pain, of the choices that they just made. That is more effective and will cause more of an effect to them than me saying something. Right. And I thought that was profound, because it's true. Like, I have literally not had to defend myself on several occasions. It was several occasions where I wanted to defend my stance or defend myself because of a person's narrative. And God said, I need you to just be silent, like literally play chess, not say anything. And every time I lied, like every time, it was always something where he would elevate me in front of them. Like always something where it was like, wow, God, you still, and I know as much as you, it's like, as much as I'm trying not to be so prideful to be like, oh, I want revenge. We human. Sometimes we just want revenge, right? And so, but God really does say vengeance is mine. I don't even need you to say nothing. I'm a deal with it. And every time. So I agree. I think that it's important for us to, be open when it comes to different situations and scenarios and all of those things. And I do want to we can close and then, you can say final words if you want to. But as much as, he talked about I might forgive, but I don't forget, I do think that forgiveness is important, and I think that forgiving ourselves, first too, because I think that when we come to a place of forgiveness, then it helps us to be able to love on people better. It helps us to be able to take accountability first, and whether, how we showed up or how we responded. And then when it comes down to, okay, forgiving someone else, knowing that me forgiving someone else is not because I'm doing this for them, I'm doing this for me. Like I'm forgiving them because I'm releasing them from still having that control and power over how I show up or how I love or how I do life. So yeah, I'll let you.
I think we all should just love each other from Jump Street and don't hate nobody that you don't know. Like, it's just too much hate going on and just too much. I visit the youth jail every Thursday, and the kids, they don't even know each other. And they just don't like each other because, like, oh, where you from? Oh man, I need to figure out where cuz from. We don't know who he is. Type, you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody's so guarded, and it comes from the environment. And I feel like we need to let our guard down, and we need to invite people in, or we at least need to be able to say, "Hey, how you doing?" without having to be attacked. You know what I'm saying? Even speaking from personal experience, it's like, "Hey, what's up? What it do?" You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, hope you having a good day. We should be leading with them joints. Like, everybody just so on edge and we killing each other for no reason. So lead with love and love everybody, no matter what they look like or who they are. Because you never know, you might bump into somebody on the street, crossing the street, ask them how their day going, and they might be a CEO. And that day the CEO wasn't having a good day, and you was that vessel for him to vent to. And now we go into the penthouse, and now you turn your life onto something else. So it always pays to be nice to people, no matter who they are or what situation they in. Just be nice.
I agree.
And stop harassing these women.
Please stop harassing these women. Please.
Stop harassing these women. She don't want you and you a 6, let her go. You a 6, bro. Need to stay on your grade level. You know what I'm saying? Stay on your grade level. You know what's going on.
Fact. But no, I love that. I love that you said lead with love. And one of the ways that, God has you lead with love is through your art. And
100%.
Being able to express whether that's your pain, whether you're expressing your pain or your happiness or your joy, you do that by sharing your gift to the world. And so as we close, I want you to just let the people know how they can follow you, any events that you have coming up where they can purchase art or see your art, anything that you have coming up.
Brian Bailey, you could find me at Brian Bailey is art on Instagram, Brian Bailey on Facebook, Brian Bailey on Bebo. Brian Bailey on Brian Bailey Art is my website. If you want to purchase art, just hit me up. We can work something out. I don't really just sell my work. I kind of have to make sure if you're buying it that you really, really want to buy it. I don't sell to people for them to flip it. Yeah, I think that's it. Brian Bailey on TikTok, all that stuff. What
share
else?
with me that you have an event next week, a mental health event.
Yeah, I'm on the mental health panel at the Gathering Spot next week on the 15th. Yeah, it may be the 16th, but it's from 6 to 8. So get there on time. At the Gathering Spot in DC, right off of K Street. So it'll be a nice. There's some nice professionals up there, and I love when I speak with professionals, because I'm kind of like this artist and I'm my free spirit, so I don't have to, so I could come as me and I don't have to dress up and stuff like that. So it's always a fun time when I get to do events like that with professional people in the workforce. So
is it like a ticketed event? Like, do they have to pay?
free 99. Just let me know, hit me up. I can put you on the guest list. It is a private club, so the gathering spot is in DC is one of 3 locations. They have a location in LA, and then they have a location in Atlanta, and then they have this location in DC. But it's a private club. They have a monthly or yearly membership fee, and dress to impress, business casual as usual. It's a private club where young Black professionals come to meet and just have a good time and talk to each other and share ideas and create with each other and explore business ventures and stuff like that. So you'll meet like the cream of the crop of the top 1% most of the time at the gathering spot. So I encourage everyone to come out and check it out. It'll be a nice event for sure. I'm gonna talk my talk, and I'm the people's artist, so they're gonna hear the real rap raw. I ain't gonna give you that cookie cutter. So we're gonna let them know what it is for real.
That's what's up. So yeah, y'all follow him on Instagram at Brian Bailey is Art. I will have his information in the show notes and in the description. And he does have, he does stuff all the time in the DMV area. So just, have a lookout, just keep a lookout on his page. I know that he has, like you said, he has the gathering spot next week and then some other art.
I got a few events that I'm working on and stuff like that, but it's a lot of the contractual things I can't really dig too deep into, but it's a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff coming up, especially in December, and working on some stuff for the whole next year about some big events and some big organizations and stuff like that I'm working with that I can't really spill the beans on and stuff like that. Because once you put it out there, the energy. One thing I learned from a big artist in this area is that if you tell everybody what you're doing all the time, they'll interject their energy in your opportunity. So
that's good.
He said the best thing to do is to do your opportunity, have it on the books, have everything planned out, and just let everybody see it when it's done. Like a week before or a couple of days before, post it up, say, hey, this is going on, this is where I'm going to be. That way nobody could kind of to put their energy or find a way around to communicate how you shouldn't be doing something or just kind of sway someone's opinion about you and stuff like that. So I don't really like to tell a lot of what I got going on, because lo and behold, there's a hater leaking somewhere and we ain't got time for them. For sure. So they'll see it when it happens. And I'll let you know a week ahead of time so you can come witness it in person.
Absolutely. Yeah. You got to protect, like you said, you got to protect your space. You got to protect your art. And that's for everybody, right? Protect your gift.
Yeah, not for sure.
The thing that,
don't tell nobody nothing, because sometimes it may fall through and you just be looking like you lying. So I had a lot of situations where I got into initial conversation with companies, and I told my friends like, man, I'm talking to such, and I had to drop out of it. And they like, man, what happened to? And I got to keep telling like, look, I had to fall out the joint, this is that and the third. So always just keep everything on the inside until it's all inked and done and the payola rolling and we having real action and motion, and they could just see it. And like I said, I don't need nobody hating on me, because I'll be ready to. So keep the peace, mind your business, and I'll show you when it's time. And I appreciate you for having me, Latrice. It's a great conversation for sure.
I'm thankful for you. It's always an honor to have you on. So yeah, y'all, like he said, move in silence, and keep out the negative voices. Everybody does not mean well and think well, but yeah, I love the discussion today. I think this was really good. I know it was almost 2 hours, but it's all good. Sometimes we don't hear enough positivity.
Yeah.
And so I pray that this is one of those episodes that can entertain, also educate, and also kind of encourage you as you are on your journey. So yeah, I love y'all. See y'all next week.
GIMS.